Babaenibaba.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Babaenibaba, the master storyteller of Nigeria land. My name is Babaenibaba. Today, I'm going to be telling you the concluding part of the story I started on the last episode.
Babaenibaba.
On one of his frequent preaching trips, Shehu had just descended the mosque steps. As the sun poured its relentless glaze upon the dusty streets, his heart heavy with the weight of knowledge and duty. He was an eager learner, a devoted servant of the Quran. His soul fired up with the desire to serve his community and uphold the truth. As he rounded the corner, he froze, his breath catching like a snare. There, before his eyes, was a sight that struck him to the marrow. A respected imam of the pillars of their faith, carrying a sick child to a traditional healer. The child was pale, trembling, eyes vacant, as if caught in the grip of spirits unseen. Shehu's heart clenched with confusion, then with anger. "Is this fate?" he whispered inwardly, the words bitter on his tongue. "Is this trust in Allah or in the spirits of the rocks?" His mind spun with questions sharper than the edge of a sword, each one a darker of doubts. He believed the best way to defeat the darkness is to light a candle. But the path was not straight. It was twisted like the serpent in the grass. The elders and the kings of the north scoffed at his call for reform. They said, a prophet is never accepted in his own land. So resistance flared like wildfire. Local warlords, tribes loyal to the old gods, and those blinded by greed, they fought to keep their traditions, their power, their idols. And then the war began, first in his mind. And as months went by, he coached his followers with the same creed, and a cry for pruning penetrated their hearts and souls. Usman Dan Fodio's movement was more than a rebellion. It was a revolution of the spirit. He rallied the oppressed, the disillusioned, the lost souls who yearned for meaning. His words were sharp as a machete, cutting through ignorance. A wise man does not speak because he has to say something. He speaks because he has something to say. The battlefield stretched across the savannas, the forests and the cities. The noise of clashing swords and the screams of the fallen echoed like thunder. The resistance from the locals was fierce. Many fought with the desperation of cornered animals, their eyes with fear and fury. Some believed they could hold back the tide of change. A bird will always use its wings, even if it fears to fall. But Usman was a storm unyielding, a force of nature that no fortress could withstand. His armies surged forward like a raging wildfire, swift as the desert wind, silent as the midnight shadow, unstoppable as the tide that swallows the shore. He preached unity, discipline, righteousness, his voice like thunder calling the fallen to rise. His soldiers believed with fervor. He who fights for his land fights for his very soul. And so, the war ignited with the fury that darkened the sun. Town after town, village after village fell into chaos, devoured by the inferno of battle. The resistance was fierce, blood boiling with hatred and despair. Brothers turned against brothers, fathers against sons, as the land was stained with crimson fears. In one brutal phase, a chief who dared to oppose Usman's rise was captured. His warrior, bloodied and broken, fought to the death. The conquerors dragged him before the crowd, his eyes blazing with defiance. With a cruel smile, Usman's men drove jagged daggers into his throat. Each thrust a thunderclap in the silent night. Blood gushed like a river of wrath, drowning hopes, drowning history. The screams echoed into eternity, a reminder that defiance will be met with savage justice. In another savage act, a renowned warlord whose army that once terrorized the land was cornered in his fortress. His guards was broken, his men slaughtered like cattle. Cornered, he fought like a demon possessed, wielding a broken sword with frenzied rage. But the relentless tide of Usman's forces closed in. They ripped through his defenses, their blades gleaming with bloodlust. His body was found sprawled amidst the wreckage, his eyes wide with terror and regret. His final breath a curse upon the heavens, and the battle raged on. The death toll mounted into the tens of thousands, each life a scar on the soul of the land. The ground drank greedily from the river of blood, and the sky wept ash and fire. The war was no longer just a fight for land. It was a brutal contest of survival, where only the strongest, the fiercest, and the most ruthless would endure. It was a fight for the fittest, where the weak were trampled between the feet of the victorious. In the furnace of war, the purest steel is forged in flames of blood and fire. The turning point, a twist of fate. Just when it seemed victory was near, a twist of fate unfolded. A secret alliance formed. An old enemy, a rival warlord, saw the writing on the wall. He approached Usman with an offer, an alliance to crush the remaining pockets of resistance. Usman, ever the wise, paused. Even the strongest tree can be felled by a single axe. He accepted, but with caution. Little did he know this alliance will test his fate and resolve. Alas, the rival betrayed him, unleashing more unending chaos in the heart of his campaign. The land trembled again, and hope flickered like a dying ember, and each day became a terror to see. The resistance and final victory. The caliphate emerged after the Hausa king, Yunfa, attempted to assassinate Usman Dan Fodio in 1802. To escape persecution, Usman and his followers migrated towards Gudu in February of 1804. Usman's followers pledged allegiance to Usman as the commander of the faithful. A river cut through rock, not because of its power, but because of its persistence. Usman regrouped, rallying his followers for one last stand. The final battle was fierce, a storm of fire and faith. The land trembled, the skies wept, and the earth swallowed the blood of heroes. Usman Dan Fodio was not ready to spare anyone who would not accept the newly reformed Islam that permitted no one to practice anything else. In the end, Usman Dan Fodio emerged victorious, not just as a conqueror, but as a liberator. The land was transformed. His vision of a purified society and true Islam was ready to take root. Yet, amidst the triumph, he knew the battle was never truly over. Even the brightest star must sometimes fade to let others shine. Today, they remember him as a Fulani teacher, Uthman, a great legend who began a holy war for Islamic renewal, a reform that eventually led to the creation of northern Nigeria's Sokoto Caliphate and the Gwandu Caliphate, the largest empire in West Africa since Songhai in the 16th century. He was a man who dared to challenge the heavens and the earth, till all that breathed here shared the reformed Islam. A storyteller would turn words into weapons and faith into armor. The jihad was more than a year. It was the rebirth. And as Babaenibaba whispers, the spirit of true leader lives on in the hearts of his people, like the flame that never dies. So, children of the earth, remember, history is a river. It flows with twists, turns, and surprises, and those who dare to paddle against its tide must be prepared for the storm. This is how I will stop on this episode of Babaenibaba. My name remains Babaenibaba, the master storyteller of Nigeria land. Join us on the next episode for another interesting edition. You can like, follow, and comment on our content. Join us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok at Babaenibaba. Thank you. God bless you. And see you next time.